this is the weekly forecast for the 5th of December 2016. It includes both your love as well as your general reading. The first card that comes up is called Grandmother Magics, and this card speaks about loving yourself the way you are. And this is not about your spiritual or your mental self that it's really speaking about, it's about your physical self. And there's a very strong message coming through this week about just appreciating yourself, even though you think you've got flaws and things you don't like about your physical self. Love yourself anyway. Your body is the home to your soul and your spirit, and you should love and respect it as such. This also means taking care of yourself physically, eating the right foods, exercising, just moving every day. Even if you don't exercise, just make sure you move, and don't feed your body a constant diet of junk food. Put some good stuff in there too. And then appreciate yourself. Then just enjoy that self, that physical self that you have. We're far too critical, and we compare ourselves to others, and we watch ourselves aging. It's an endless critical cycle that. And this week there's a very strong message not to do that. Obviously that means taking care of your body as well. Don't just let it go and eat junk food and then think everything's going to be okay. The balance, the middle path, always. The next card that comes up speaks about differences, and this card says, instead of this week as well, constantly pointing out the differences in other people or seeing differences in other people as a point of separation, we need to understand that people need to be different. I always say variety adds spice to life. And then I'll always add, imagine if everybody was exactly the same way you were. Life would be, well, for one, incredibly predictable, so in the end it would be incredibly boring. Doesn't matter how exciting you are, if someone was exactly like you, you'd be able to predict their next moves. Also, often when we see a difference in somebody else, we tend to firstly have a response from the fear sector because we don't understand it. But it's differences that add depth to life. They make us see things from a different perspective, and we learn new things, and that makes us evolve and grow. So don't see differences between people as a point of separation. Just see it as a point of widening your perspective. You don't have to like what they do. You don't have to do what they do. But be more receptive to being open to differences in people. And obviously all of us are going to come up against this in some way this week. Someone is going to make us very aware of the fact they're very different to us. And our first initial response is going to be that of pointing out the difference from probably a fairly, shall we say, standoffish or fearful point of view. And to then remember, yes, I got that message from the universe. Let me look deeper into this. Let me try and understand this. Let me try and see their perspective, because the only reason this will be coming up is because it's going to broaden your life this week. It's going to make you see a bigger picture. Right, and then the next card that comes up speaks about relationships deepening this week. So for a lot of you, there could very well be an engagement this week. You could be getting engaged. It is the time of year when people do pop the question. So for a lot of you, yes, the question is going to be popped this week. For others of you, relationships that you've recently gotten into, or perhaps a little bit further back than that, are starting to reach a new level of commitment. You could move in together. You could declare yourselves definitely going out. And then for those of you that have been wondering if you will ever get engaged to anybody, this card says, of course you will. You're going to. If you're watching this video and you're listening to this message, yes, at some stage somebody is going to pop the question, or you're going to pop the question to somebody. But in general, there will be a deepening of certain relationships in your life this week. Now, the next set of cards speak about the first one, seeing once again the beauty in other people. We can often focus too much, too long on the things we don't like in the people around us, especially the people closer to us even. This says look for the good things in them, remember the good things in them, and even acknowledge the good things in them. The next card then speaks about having fun in your relationships. Treat them as an adventure. They're not a task and they're not a chore, and the other person is not there to see to all your needs or to make you happy even. Honestly, they're not. You need to treat it more like an adventure, more as the two of you together in this adventure of life. When you start taking that kind of attitude towards it, you'll see things shift in a big way. So that third card then speaks about this week you could have a wish granted where relationships are concerned, but that card has a little bit of an underlying warning. It speaks about being very aware of what your wish is, because most certainly it will be granted, but you need to think about what it is that you truly, truly want, because you could be wishing that your partner would make you happier by doing this or that. In the meantime, there's something within yourself that is making you unhappy. Now, you're going to get that wish granted, and it's not going to bring about the change that you want, or it could bring about the kind of change that you're not wanting. So rather wish for something that you know your heart truly desires and is not a way of compensating for where you feel you are not living up to your own expectations. Gosh, that message came through nice and clear. Okay, now the adventure card says, once again, you come with that adventure. Break out of your routine this week. Go and do something totally different, perhaps even exhilarating. This card speaks about driving in your car with the top down, your hair blowing in the wind. Admittedly, for those of you in the northern hemisphere, you could end up with snow in your hair rather. Yeah, in the southern hemisphere, we could definitely do that. Where I live, it's a bit hot at the moment for that. You'll get sunburned. But it might be worth the sunburn, actually, just to go out there and do something exciting and different and just break out of that routine. I think for those of us that are westernized, especially city dwellers, or have a city kind of living, if you understand what I'm saying, can get very stuck in routines. And then, as you know, you create a very set energy pattern, and then you can't really bring anything new into it. And also the things that get stuck keep repeating themselves. So this card is probably saying this week, break out of that routine and you'll break a gap in your energy field and new stuff can come in. The next set of cards speaks about something that has been haggling at you, worrying you, you consider it a burden. But this week you'll get some kind of emotional clarity where that is concerned. You may actually just see it from a different perspective. You'll be amazed what a difference this can make to a so-called problem that burdens you. And when you get that emotional clarity, when you get that different perspective, suddenly good news comes in. Now you'll know I've often spoken about this. This is how it works. This is how energy works. You shift energy in one part of your life, you open a portal or a door, and something totally different comes into your life, but it's something good and something that you've been looking forward to or didn't even know you were looking forward to. That's kind of what that third card says. In your guidance cards, that first one says that you have the power to transcend failure and move into a limitless future. So basically what this card is saying, the only reason you are stuck at the moment, or your perception of being stuck at the moment, is just that. It's a perception. It's going to move, it's going to shift. Take the steps. Take the first steps and you'll see things starting to shift. There's a very big forward push this first week of December and the whole month of December, really. You're going to gain momentum in whatever you do. And you have the power to do it. You have the inner strength and power to do it. So take that step. Because that value card speaks about something you're considering doing has great value. It is going to bring in either spiritual or monetary gain, material wealth as such, or it's going to be both of them. So push forward on whatever that is that you are thinking of doing, because the time is now right for it. It will bring you great reward. Right, and if you would like a personal reading, so we can take a look at how this plays out in your life in specific, or you would like a reading for 2017, we can take a look at what's going to happen in your year ahead. You can contact me at theoracletimes@gmail.com, or you can book a reading via the website. Both URLs or web addresses are showing up in our picture. You'll see in the next frame coming up now, there is the option of choosing cards from your own tarot deck. I read them for you for the very small fee. You'll see it's in that picture. And it's a wonderful way of doing a reading. Really, really amazing. And I do hope you enjoyed this reading. Thank you so much for watching and listening.